money against the field in the West just to win the West. They've earned that. With that said, OKC, it's not just that they're young, it's that aside from Shea, I wasn't really impressed by how any of those young players played in the playoffs last year. I thought, you know what I mean? Right. Shea, to his credit, Shea, had like a cup of coffee in the playoffs as a kid with the Clippers, and then right when he got to OKC, and then last year got there as an MVP candidate, played like an MVP candidate. Everyone else got a little bit worse. Yep. You know what I mean? Come the postseason. Also, OKC is a great defensive team, but they're a weird defensive team because they're not that big. Now, Hartenstein's obviously huge for them, and Chet's big, but they're, aside from Hartenstein, none of their bigs are big as far as like is muscular, and their great perimeter defenders are all 6'5" or shorter. Like Dort's a great perimeter defender, he's 6'4". The Lakers, on the other hand, have a really weird team in that they don't have a big, but they're a huge team. Mm-hmm. Meaning, like their playoff rotation, aside from Austin, everyone's 6'7", 6'8", right. And so I think that they are a brutal matchup for everyone in the West. I think the only team who has the right personnel to credibly guard both of those guys is Boston. I think Boston, and so I'm not sitting here saying they should be the favorite because they shouldn't be the favorite, but I am saying if they get OKC in a series, I don't know who's going to guard the guy Dort's not guarding. And that to me is if you get playoff LeBron and playoff Luka, that is a legitimate threat in every single series they'll play.
Yeah, and I said, I think it was last week, that I think there's 3 top contenders in the West. OKC, Denver, and the Lakers. And I would put both of those, OKC and Denver, ahead of the Lakers. I might even, if I had to pick a team, I might pick Denver. Like, Denver's really gotten it going. Yeah, Joker obviously is a tough matchup for the Lakers. Even when they had AD, now he just run roughshod. But Jamal Murray's playing better. Great. Yeah, Aaron Gordon, obviously. So, and they're 20-6 over the last 2 months. So they're starting to get it together.
Once Jamal started playing well, they're
looking good. And they'll probably have a chip on their shoulder, too, after losing last year. OKC, I'm not as down on this matchup as you are. I think the main problem OKC would have against the Lakers is the youth. Because they would be the youngest team, I believe, to ever win a championship if they win it. That Portland team in 1977 is the currently
Were they the youngest team last year to win a series?
Yes. So they'd be the youngest to win a final. So that's still a lot. I do think you got Dort and Jalen Williams. I think nobody's shutting down Luka and LeBron, but I think they could guard them. And again, it's really about team defense anyway. Right. And you got the 2 7-footers in Holmgren and Hartenstein at the rim. Obviously, the Lakers will have trouble with them on the other end too. So look, if Luka and LeBron make magic, then they're going to be a tough out. I would be a little surprised if they win the West, but I think they are a top team with those other 2 that I mentioned. And, LeBron obviously has to stay healthy. Yeah. And at his age, and obviously he's got the foot bothering him, that's a question mark. And then I just want to see, in addition to the defense and the size, the lack of size, I still want to see how it works because they're going to have to start putting the ball in Luka's hands more. Because he's not going to be Luka Doncic if you don't let him have the ball in his hands and let LeBron and Austin Reeves play off the ball.
I believe in it. I believe it could happen. I mean, I believe that we totally not paying attention to, like, we just forgetting the fact that it is Luka Doncic and LeBron James.
Right.
So
plain and simple.
So I think that
you beat them boys seven straight.
I saw Luka play the Thunder last year. Yep. I saw a bunch of guys. You look at it, and people like, oh, well, the Mavs, shot out of their minds. They shot for the series almost 40% from 3. I understand that, but go back and watch it. Like, until Game 6, one of the reasons they were shooting at that level is because they were wide open threes, because the defense collapses on Luka, and if you have another supercomputer alongside him in LeBron, that to me, it's just almost all of the true contenders have built a roster factoring in at some point we're going to have to deal with a Tatum or Luka or LeBron. We need an Aaron Gordon. We need a guy who can be out there. Nobody's got two of them. That's why I said Boston might, because I think Tatum and Brown can just be like, you know what? We can do it. Like and I also, and again, people can say that I am too, optimistic about this. I think it is a great sign for the Lakers' chances that LeBron sat the All-Star game out. And by that I mean he only does that if he actually believes we could maybe win a championship. And LeBron, when he was asked early in the year, and I know some people didn't like it, but he's been very honest the last few years with the Lakers. Like, nope, we're not a championship caliber team. Like, we're good, but we're not championship caliber. I do think things like the streaks matter to LeBron. I think knowing that he knew he had the best team. They won the All-Star game without him. Right. You know what I mean? Right. I think that I think he likes playing with Steph. I think there's a lot of stuff where he would have wanted to play. I think he didn't play because he's like, man, we got 30 games and then potentially 4 playoff rounds. And the fact that he believes it means his basketball brain has done the math on what they're good at, what they're not going to be good at. And it's like, I think we got a shot. And I just think that we're yet to see one game this year, they've only played together 2, where both these guys are anywhere close to a full strength. And I just don't know what the ceiling of that offense is going to be. And then I just want to ask you guys one question before we move on. Because the other piece of it is they're going to play last year the Mavs played basically 7 guys the whole postseason. So you have Luka, LeBron, AR, Rui, and then Jackson Hayes when you want to play big, and then Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith. There's your 7 guys. Yeah. I think those are the only 7 guys who are really, like, maybe
Gabe Vincent could get in because he's been good for him defensively.
But I feel like I'm like, I don't mind that that is a playoff rotation. I don't mind those 7 guys, and it's everyone there is 6'7", and long. They just don't have a big. I think they're a dangerous team.
There aren't a ton of teams that pound you inside. Right. So I mean, we did see Utah do it to them on the glass and stuff. So that's something they'll have to figure out. But yeah, dangerous for sure, depending on how well Luka and LeBron match up together. And we'll start seeing that over these next 30 games.
Who do you think would be, if they're on the opposite, if it ends up where Denver and OKC are the 1 and the 4, and the Lakers are on the opposite side of the bracket, who do you think is a better matchup for the Lakers?
Out of OKC?
Denver, if the Lakers, let's just say,
if I'm the Lakers and I had to choose who I played in the
who do you want to play?
I'd want OKC. Because of the youth.
I know it sounds disrespectul, me too. Yeah, I would just worry that Joker's just going to, if Joker put up 40-point triple-doubles with AD there, that Joker's just going to have.
And he's shown, I mean, he's always shown it, but he'll put up 40-something more than that, without question. I love Giannis. He's one of the 2 best players in the league. I don't need him in the dunk. Unless he got some package that we don't know about, right? So, but. And Ja tweeted, too, later on, like, Zach, AG, Aaron Gordon, like, I think that was about, if Ja were to get, I don't want to be the only star or big name to lose to this dude, Mac McClung. Right. So I hope, first of all, McClung has said, I thought he said this is his last one. But like you said earlier, Nick, this is kind of, no offense, all he's got going basketball-wise. So he needs to keep doing this. There could be endorsements coming from this.
He's made $300,000 in dunk contest prize money and $110,000 in NBA salary. So
he's only played 5 games in the NBA.
He's a 2-way guy, and listen, he was a good college player, and more power to him. But this is like a big deal for him. It makes him a name.
Milk this, absolutely. So here's what I want to see. I want to see McClung. Zach LaVine, it'll be 30 in March, but if he still got those hops, I want to see him in it. Aaron Gordon will be 30 in September. He's actually younger than Zach. So if he would get in it, I know it was years ago that he won. Zion ain't got a ton going for him basketball-wise either. I mean, he's still obviously a much better player than McClung. But this would put Zion back on the map if he just in it. And then don't forget Derrick Jones Jr., who won it a few years ago. Like, he's a great dunker, and he's 28 years old. So you bring that batch or even some of those guys with McClung, and that's huge. I
like that.
Yeah.
So I again, I'm going to be, I guess, with one of the few people that is not as down as down on All-Star Weekend as the general media. I think the dunk contest kind of goes in waves and always has. Like this idea that there was ever a time where every single year the dunk contest was amazing, it's just not true. Like, to this day, the greatest dunk contest performance I ever saw was Vince in 2000. Yeah. And then the only thing that came close to it.
Phenomenal.
And then, yeah, Dwight's thing was great, but the only thing I was going to say that came close to it was the Aaron Gordon-Zach LaVine duel was as good of a duel. That was I think Vince's individual performance was the best, but that duel, I did not watch live Dominique Michael, but that's a legendary one. Duel, and I know that people are, big on LeBron should have done it. LeBron, man, that ship sailed. Like, if LeBron, maybe 24-year-old LeBron should have done the dunk contest. He didn't, so be it. I do think John Zion should do it. I think Zion in particular, if you want to argue that you don't have a responsibility to do it because, hey, LeBron didn't do it, so be it. But guys who need a public image boost, who could be great for the dunk contest, should do it. Ja, to his credit, has kept his hands clean, but Ja, he hasn't regained the juice he had before his incidents. Him kicking ass in a dunk contest, and he is the type of player who would win dunk contests, who would be great. And Zion needs to start accomplishing anything, you know what I mean, as a pro. Those guys absolutely, I think, should do it, and it would be good for them. I agree with you. The reason I was never so big on LeBron's dunk contest is I looked at LeBron kind of like I look at Giannis. Like, I don't think those guys would be great dunk contest dunkers. Now, I wouldn't have thought Aaron Gordon was going to be, and he ended up being an unbelievable one. But usually the big, powerful, strong guys are not the best dunk contest dunkers. But the guys that have the next generation of guys who are trying to take their celebrity, if you will, in the league to a new level should take advantage of this opportunity because they tried to make the three-point contest the thing, but at its core, shooting threes is never going to be as exciting as this dude jumping over a car. So
I agreed about LeBron. Like I always said when people were criticizing for not getting in it, I don't think he'd be a great dunk contest dunker. He would have to be super creative like Dwight Howard was.
Yes.
Or Gordon was incredibly creative too. Like that's the only way a big burly guy like that can be great. But I will say this is one thing that happened. When LeBron didn't get in it, that's when kind of the stars stopped getting in it. Like it used to be Jordan, Dominique, all the stars, Sean Kemp, they would get in the dunk contest. And when LeBron didn't do it, I'm not even saying it's necessarily tied to that. But time-wise, when LeBron didn't do it, you've rarely seen. Blake Griffin did do it. You've rarely seen like the big names get in it anymore. So it'd be great if all these dudes came. And look, they'd have their hands full with McClung.
Well, yeah, like, those guys did it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.